So here's the thing. I am pretty much obsessed with RAG. I personally think that every business will have their own RAG database at some point in the not so distant future. It's definitely the future of technology inside of AI with regard to business solutions and business automations. So with that said, not all RAG is created equal. Sometimes RAG needs better retrieval. A lot goes into it, data prep, but retrieval is definitely one of them. And one of the ways that you can increase the accuracy of retrieval and the context that is retrieved is through hybrid vector search. So regular vector search is semantic, right? So that's when a word is turned into a bunch of numbers, and then the query is turned into a bunch of numbers, and the proximity of those numbers to each other it basically represents a semantic relationship. So that's when you have a database that has the words cat, dog, bird, and then your query says pet, it'll show up next to those words because there's a semantic relationship, as opposed to calendar or blender kind of thing. The problem with that though is, it's only one dimension. It can definitely bring back a lot of irrelevant information, and old RAG systems often do. So hybrid includes keyword search, lexical keyword search on top of the semantic search. So you're searching for semantic and you're also doing old school keyword search, and then the results are blended together. And this gives a richer context for whatever LLM you feed that information to. So I figured out how to build this inside of n8n. First, all the instructions are right here, supabase.com, docs, guides, AI, hybrid search. And it's literally step by step. You run this SQL query inside of your Supabase. Make sure that you change this to the correct embedding vector number, which is typically 1536 if you use OpenAI. Then you run this one. Then you run this one after you change that to probably 1536. After you run those three, run this inside of the edge cases. And once this is created inside of edge cases, put in your OpenAI API key, and voila, here I'll actually show you what all that looks like. So first, we had this, right? That was the first one. Next, we run the second one, like I showed you in the document. Last, we run this one. And then under edge functions, copy and paste that other one. And then under secrets, you just add OpenAI. Mine was Google API. But that's done. And then what that ended up doing was creating all of the necessary functions to do hybrid retrieval. So it created this table. I had to manually add metadata because I'm using n8n, and n8n always sends metadata. So there has to be a place to put that. So first we have to put data inside of our new vector table inside of Supabase. So I'm using a form with file upload here, insert documents from list, and then this is the default name for that table will always be documents. Again, I'm using Gemini 768 dimensions, which is text embedding 004. If you use Gemini embedding 001, it defaults to 3072 dimensions. So if you use that, you need to make sure that you change that number to 3072 in those other functions. Default data loader, type of data is binary because I'm taking it directly from a file that I put into that form. And then text splitting is custom, where I just chose recursive character text and then left the default at 1000 chunk with 0 overlap. Anyway, so we can actually execute this and put something in there. Cache advertising, it's one of my favorites. Submit. We'll see here that it is uploading. There we go, 609 items, and we can actually check that by coming here. Content, embedding, full text search, and metadata. So everything here for that entire book, 609 rows worth. All right, now that we have some data in here, we can come here and see how we plan to communicate with that data. So here is an AI agent using Google Gemini with simple memory. And then this tool is something I named hybrid search. It's just HTTP in your edge function, right? So let's go back here in the edge function. If you look at the details will have this information. You could just import the CURL. It won't have this. I wrote this. This is the description to tell the AI agent what this tool is and what it does. But the rest of this populates. The only part you'll have to change is this will by default say name. You want to change that to query because the parameter is query. And then the value needs to be defined by the model. And then now we can actually open the chat and talk to this bot. and then ask a question about the book. What is the LF8? So we can actually see here in the response that it pulled information from cache advertising. This is the content, this is the FTS, and it pulls 10 chunks of this, right? So we have full text, and then we also have embedding. All of this, 10 times, is what the agent is fed. So then the agent responds with the information. The LF8, or Life Force 8, refers to 8 powerful biological programmed human desires. This is exactly correct from the book. The key here, though, is this isn't going to look very different from any other RAG chatbot, but the key is to understand that the retrieval is so much more accurate because you have so much more context. Now you have the keyword context, full text search, and embedding, so semantic and keyword. And that is how you set that up in n8n. Hope that helps.